listening to the Shite Talk podcast show. Shut up and sit down.
Welcome once again to the Shite Talk podcast show. Mark and Ken.
What's up?
On episode 248 of the Shite Talk podcast show.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and do you know what? I said I only have to remember for 20 something seconds, and I nearly forgot. I was like, 200 and what the fuck was it again? I can't believe this has already happened to me. Already hitting Alzheimer's or one of the memory lasting diseases of the brain.
You should probably write it down.
I should, shouldn't I? I don't want to write it down because younger Mark was able to remember. Younger Mark
Like, what's
was
this number on the wall?
not able to remember ever.
This number on the wall means what?
I like that, like memory thing, like Alzheimer's. That's a horrible way to go out.
Yes and no.
Well, you kind of like the idea of fading away, blissful ignorance, not remembering anything.
Yeah, like it'd be great.
Well, if it was just like you reverted back to being, you basically do revert back to being a child.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just want to be brought outside every now and again. Ask too cold, bring me back in. Who are you? Who's that? I don't know them. And then every now and again you get clarity and go, I remember, you're a cunt. You go back off. I was watching the George Best. Well, not George Best. It was a football manager in Ireland, Jackie Charlton. There you go. Documentary on Amazon. It's probably one of the best sports documentaries I've watched. I think he's going through dementia.
Well, he's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's dead now. He was going through dementia. And it was just like, oh, that seems like a shitty way to end the last parts of your life. Either that or I guess you're fucking constantly bringing up the past if you've no future to look forward to. So I was like, age.
So getting older.
You're getting closer to death.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get off death.
Like, think about it. Like, you're going to be 60 before you know it, Mark.
And apparently, as you get older, you get dumber. So your cognitive ability to justify time gets worse. So you just think like a week seems shorter, a year then seems shorter than that. And then the time you know it, like you go, oh, I can't even remember. And it's been 10 years ago. And it's already been 10 years. And that isn't because you're getting older. It's because you're getting slightly dumber. And time just seems like it's speeding up because you can't actually accurately measure time. So there.
Yeah,
so that's why time seems up. And if you keep doing dumb things that hurt your brain, it's going to get even faster. This podcast is going to be seen like a distant bad memory to us and to our listeners. Our listeners probably more quickly here.
More quicklier?
Yeah.
Quicklier, I don't think is a word.
It is now. I invented a word.
What's the definition?
Yeah, going quicker somewhere.
So basically the exact same as the word quick.
Yeah, quicker, quicklier. Means to go even quicklier than quicker. It's a slightly more faster way of getting there, but less accurate. So you might take a turn, wrong turn.
So it ends up being slower.
Yeah, it ends up in the long run being a lot slower. Speaking of which, yesterday I went out. I was like really late to a dinner with my girlfriend, and it was a nice enough restaurant. And I had power walked for half an hour to get to because I already knew I was going to be late, and I ended up being very, very late by the end of it. And this, I say, slightly bougie restaurant I went into. And my t-shirt was sticking to me now at this stage because I'd power walk so fast. Like I was nearly going to take a bottle of water and just chuck over my face just like to cool myself down. And there's like patches of sweat, like sweating. You could probably clearly see sweat all over my face and arms, and I could barely take off the coat. Sitting into this nice restaurant having food. Gonna really hope my top dries before we go to the next place. Yeah.
Mark. That's what happens when you try to get there quickly.
Quicklier, yeah. That's the definition of quicklier. That you don't know where you're going. You circle the place 4 times because it's apparently in an arcade.
In an arcade?
See, yeah, exactly. That's the directions I was given. It's in an arcade, and I looked. There's no arcade around here. Because I was thinking, like you would, an arcade has amusements, has people doing dance thingies. It's like I was like, there's no arcade. Apparently, no. It's like I don't know what the actual term is. It definitely is an arcade, but it's basically like this open space in a building that basically has other shops and buildings in it.
It's like a fucking shopping center.
Yeah, it's not really a shopping center. And no, we wouldn't call it a shopping center because it basically is full of somewhat bougie restaurants, drinking bars, cafes, and eateries. So it's nothing really like you wouldn't pick up anything there. You're kind of just
and eateries. Mark, you're from fucking Tala. Eateries.
That's the higher education that you get in these compared to Tala. When you move out and spend. Well, I guess I actually went to school in Rackhill, so like, yeah, apparently maybe they have eateries and it's places where you go and get food, and that's if you're posh and say that.
They also have
food places.
Yeah, arcades,
yeah, and apparently that building, maybe it is because we can't actually justify that with a word. Maybe there's people going, yeah, it is actually called an arcade, but I doubt our listeners are that intelligent that they know if it's...
Jesus Christ, Mark.
Fuck you is basically what we're getting.
So this is the last episode of the podcast.
Yeah, way to go out a high. Yeah. See, like, these are one of these things that you can't even Google. You can't go, look, what is a place with buildings in it that you can walk around? Like an open, like you can, I don't know, I think it had a roof on it.
Apparently,
can you?
Apparently, it is an arcade.
Oh, right. You've managed to Google it. All right.
Yeah, an arcade is a covered passage with arches along one or both sides.
Oh, fair enough. Oh, never knew that. Then why do we imagine video games?
Because nobody really uses the word except for amusement arcades.
Fair enough. So you wouldn't direct someone to go through the arcade and where it is, because like no one know what that is, and you're like, what arcade? There's no arcade. I've circled this place 4 times. Where is this beside?
It does seem like an incredibly Mark thing, though.
What?
Just like getting lost in general.
Yeah, well, I was so proud of myself because they didn't use Google Maps to find where we're going. Town can be a bit tricky for me. I was like, I know where this is. Follow the Lewis. Instead of getting on the Lewis, just follow it. You'd get there quicker, but let's just follow this Lewis.
Quicklier.
But apparently, if I got on the Lewis where I got on the Lewis, it wouldn't actually brought me to where I wanted to go. And I was like, it's straight. It was like, surely that makes sense to have a Lewis that goes straight to another Lewis. And no, like somewhere else. It's like, oh, how many Lewises are there? I thought there was only 2 lines.
Yeah, there is, isn't there?
Yeah, well, apparently she said that one goes out somewhere and comes back in and goes. And I was like, okay, I'm just confused. I'm never getting on the Lewis.
Fuck the Lewis.
Yeah. Yeah, so then we'll be talking about Subway, but not Subways in terms of like the Subway in the US. We're going to talk about the ones that you eat. Because they have like a pretty cool competition going on. And Ken will be talking about that later on.
Yeah, I think, Mark, you would be a prime candidate for this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm very rarely a prime candidate for anything, so I am very, very much intrigued.
like you're kind of easily persuaded to things.
Oh yeah, very easily.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Like
think this
pyramid
might be something.
schemes, yeah, like cults, really easy to get me on board. I'm usually
Like,
I'm usually first off the cliff. So yeah, I guess that would suit me.
this might be for you.
I have a study. I have a story that you might like as well, and it's to do with the amount of activity you do during the day and your level of intelligence and how they might be correlated. But then again, this story might point to me being intelligent, and that might be a surprise for all our listeners. Then remember last week I said, "Oh, I don't like really making people idiots a week. Is what they done cause them to die, and it seems a bit bad." And it's like, I never feel great, but if it is, it is. And sometimes you have to call people them being dumb, even if they like lost their life doing it. I did it again this week. This is 2 weeks in a row where we're basically insulting the dead.
I don't like calling dead people idiots, but
like, it was a pretty dumb thing that he did. So yeah, we're talking about why another guy lost his life and ended up on. It is a weekend. Like, I think, Ken, you will agree with this idiot of the week. We've talked off air, so you know what it is.
yeah, like I always kind of just say go with it.
Go with it.
You're an idiot. Let them be an idiot.
Yeah, let them prove to us that they're not an idiot, and then we'll create a different T-shirt, one that says "Idiot of the Week," and the other one says, "Sorry, we're actually wrong. You're not an idiot."
I don't think that's ever been made, ever like printed. Though.
No, it won't be printed, and it won't ever be coming to anyone we know.
And it's probably the only time we'll ever mention it.
Yeah, a bloke or a lad or a guy or a man, right? Got a club card tattooed on him, and we'll be talking and guessing whether it worked or not. So what? So this would be in your realm of expertise, I'd imagine. This guy gets a tattoo of a club card. Do you think the scanner would have worked, or
should do?
Should do if it's done right.
If it's tattooed properly,
you're saying this is a good idea.
I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm saying it should work.
How many things could we get tattooed on us that would be scanned?
Anything with a barcode.
Does your payment of your money, your Visa debit card, could you get a barcode that basically you just tap your arm and you can basically pay for stuff using your tattoo?
No,
that wouldn't work.
Your card doesn't have a barcode.
Oh no, it uses something else. But what if it did? Someone could take a picture of your tattoo and then you use that.
Yeah, like anything that has a barcode on it, you could get it tattooed and it should scan.
Imagine, you know how like you go to a concert like Metallica and you might used to collect the ticket stubs.
Yeah.
Do you think like when you get the ticket stub beforehand, you go to the tattoo studio and you tattoo the ticket stub on your arm, use it, that's a scan, and then it's also like a memory of like the gig that you went to, and then you have your body filled with like barcodes of different concerts. And you're like, see this one on my back? It's of like Motley Crue.
That'd be kind of pointless.
Why?
Because you're never going to use that fucking thing again. Like, you're never going to use that barcode.
Yeah, but that's why it's a memory.
Like, do you know what? Something that annoyed me. Remember, it was a trend when like the game Hitman was big there for a while.
Yeah, a QR code.
If people went around and got barcodes tattooed in the back of their neck because they were like, "Oh yeah, Hitman."
I wonder if like what I would do would get an actual barcode, and like so if someone scanned it, it would come up like milk or whatever.
That's what some people did.
So they just took an actual barcode, and if you all right, and whatever that thing is that's what your nickname's gonna be. So if like it came up as milk, you'd be like milk for the rest of your life to that person. You'd be like, oh, there's milk over there. Or like cheddar cheese. What's the crack, Rasher? Imagine it was like something really embarrassing.
Like what?
Kitten soft.
Kitten soft.
Yeah, it was
That's
toilet
not
paper.
really,
So like,
that's not really that embarrassing.
well, if you're being called, if someone calls you kitten soft for the rest of your life, you know, you're not gonna be too happy about it. Kitten soft or toilet paper. Where's toilet paper? Taking a shite. Huh?
You know what? They just call you Jack's roll.
Jack roll, yeah. Especially if your name's Jack. You just roll. Or bog roll. So don't get barcodes in case people slack you off because they can scan them with their phones.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes, people can just scan your neck and go, look it. It's
Look at this gob shite.
It's cornflake. Let's crack cereal. Or Kellogg's. There's so many things you can slack them off. Say that. So if they got a Subway, their name would be like Sandwich.
Sambo. Alright, Sambo.
I wonder if Subway would give you free sandwiches. Is that the challenge? Is this like a weird roundabout way, or like everything's connected, and this is what the story is about?
Ish.
So all right. So what do I have to do in order to get free Subway for life?
So Subway are like celebrating some sort of fucking anniversary or some shite, and they're having a block party in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they've got a tattoo, like a proper tattoo studio, like in on it, and they're giving customers a chance to win free sandwiches. Now it rates from free sandwiches for a month to free sandwiches for a year to free sandwiches for life. And all you have to do is get a little Subway tattoo.
All right. So, like, what's the difference between a Subway tattoo that you get a free sandwich to a one that you will get one for the rest of your life?
So, if you get a Subway tattoo that is, so first of all, it has to be the Subway logo. You know, like just the word Subway and it's like whatever. So, if you get a Subway tattoo that is 2 inches by 2 inches on your wrist, bicep, or foot, you'll get free sandwiches for a month.
Yeah, grand.
If you get a Subway tattoo that's 3 inches by 3 inches on your shoulder, your forearm, your calf, you get free sandwiches for a year. And if you get a Subway sandwich or a Subway tattoo that is 12 inches by 12 inches anywhere, you'll get free sandwiches for life.
So what if you get it on your dong? You go into the Subway place and go, huh? That's not 12 inches. Give it.
Yeah, but like, it has to be 12 inches by 12 inches. Like, that's pretty big.
Yeah, that is pretty big, in fairness. Yeah. Surely you have to go for life. Like, if you're going to have something permanently tattooed on you, you go for life.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can't. There's no half measures here. Getting a little tiny Subway tattoo to get one for a month.
But like 12 inches by 12 inches is a fucking big tattoo.
That'd be like, yeah, that'd be pretty much your back. It wouldn't be your back, but be like that. Be kind of like the only realistic place you could get it.
Yeah, or your chest.
Oh god, that'd be painful. Imagine Subway, eat fresh.
Yeah, just fucking big, massive Subway tattoo.
Do you ever see the MMA fighters KSW, which is like a Polish MMA promotion? They always they don't force their fighters, but they allow their fighters to have like prints on their bodies.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, it looks retarded.
Yeah, some of them are awful.
Oh my, like why would you like? For some reason, I don't mind it on the shorts. I'm somehow used to people having a million sponsorships on the shorts and not think any different of them. But when you put it onto your skin, I just think no. Yeah, I'm not that desperate for money.
At least it's not permanent. Like,
yeah, no, it's not permanent, but you still look like a doofus. Like, how money hungry are you that you do that for it? It's like, I think there's a line where, as a viewer, you're like, all right, I'll accept this level of branding on athletes, but when it goes to I'm painting this on my chest, or you have to get this like thing on your chest, I'm like, it's a bit much.
I suppose it depends on how much money's involved.
Yeah, like I can imagine there wouldn't be enough. Like, it wouldn't be that much. Like, apparently KSW pays well. Like, they do. They're not a bad payer in terms of for European leagues. That like people can get careers off it and not have to like promotion hop.
Not have to write stupid stuff all over their chest.
Yeah, but yeah, the downfall is we'll pay you all right, but you won't be able to live off it. So you might have to get this like brand plastered on your chest there. They're doing crazy fights as well. Norman Parks, he's living over in Poland right now.
You should remember him.
Yeah, remember him. I think he is dating a Polish girl and moved over there, signed for KSW. And he was meant to fight this like bodybuilder or this heavyweight, and he's like, oh yeah, easy money, this is gonna be a fucking easy fight. So they're doing like these kind of like freak show fights in order to get like where a big strong guy fights a small technical guy, and it's like in order to get kind of more popular.
That's kind of like what one are doing with Mighty Mouse.
Aren't they doing like where he does Muay Thai fight and then like an MMA fight?
Yeah, they've done that already. Where like the first round is like Muay Thai, second round is MMA, third round is Muay Thai, fourth round is MMA.
Yeah, like that's slightly different because like it limits his like offense and it's against like specialists. I don't necessarily think that's the same as like just fighting a heavyweight guy that's going to be swinging for.
Yeah, but like it's like like freak show kind of fights.
Yeah, they're just basically to grab maybe people who just want to see blood. Yeah, but I think Norman Park already fought him. I think he lost.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me either. But yeah, he wasn't that great. He wasn't that interesting of a fighter. He's technically probably pretty good, but
like he was okay.
Yeah,
I forgot about him. That's how good he was.
That's how good he was. Yeah, I think Conor McGregor came into the UFC, wanted to fight him, and he was like,
oh yeah, he was mounting him for a bit, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, and he wouldn't take the fight, and so it's like I had less respect for him then. Like, take the fight. So, is like when do you have to because you have to be over in Las Vegas, wherever this party's happening, in order so you can't just rock up to any Subway and say, "Here, look, I got the Subway tattoo." That means I get a free I get this for a month. I get free Subways for a month.
Yeah, no, the one for a year, like the 12-inch by 12-inch one, only one person can get that.
All right. Do they have a date on the tattoo where it goes? Or did it just after the tattoo give you a Subway card? Or everyone used to have Subway cards.
Yeah, I don't know what way it's going to work.
I imagine when you scan, because it used to be after like a certain amount of subs, you get a free sub. You could build up.
I'm assuming maybe they're going to send like there's only 9 people that can get these.
Yeah, so it's like Willy Wonka, and it'll give them like golden tickets.
Yeah, so like it's only one person can get the big one, and then 4 people each for the 2-inch and 3-inch ones. So I'd say maybe they just send like a list of names to stores, and they're like, these are the people that won our thing.
Yeah, but like people used to have Subway cards, and I imagine they're still a thing. I take it one of the things that enter this card, you probably have to be a Subway card holder, and they could just have it on your card that you get a free Subway for life, or for a certain amount of time. Because you used to be able to collect points in order to get free subs or free, like certain amount of points you could get a free drink. Then you could get like a free half sub, and then like you get a foot long for if you kept saving them up.
Like, it's probably, like, realistically, you probably just have to nominate, like, where's your local fucking Subway?
Yeah. Anyway, it's not to be, like, would you actually, I've already said I think it's retarded getting brands, so, like, I probably wouldn't necessarily get Subway. I can't remember last time I had a sub.
Yeah, like, I'm not into Subway.
Yeah, like, I think their food's alright. A lot of the subs there are grand, like, but I wouldn't go out my way. They're an expensive roll, basically.
Yeah, we'd be getting for free, Mark.
Yeah, sign me up for a month. Should we move on to the next topic?
Go on.
And it's all the way to the page, and it's: you're not lazy, you have a higher IQ, study suggests. And I think that study was directed at you, Ken.
Like, who done this study?
College people, I imagine.
So the laziest members of society.
Yeah, so a new study has revealed a correlation between laziness and a higher IQ, meaning that starting off into space and avoiding the gym could mean that you're not being lazy. You're actually demonstrating your intelligence, Ken.
Right.
So, like, the study itself is a little bit dumb. It was published in the Journal of Health and Physiology. You know what I'm trying to say here. People with a higher IQ got bored easily, and leading them to spend more time thinking. So even though they may not like they are doing anything, they are engaging in deeper thought. So basically, they're not just sitting on the couch staring into space. They're actually contemplating the many mysteries of the universe. So they're problem solving by doing nothing, basically. Whereas active people are problem solving by doing activities and can't think for the last 20 years and want to touch a wall.
I want to touch a wall.
I just want to touch a wall. Give me a wall. I'll run over there and touch a wall. Okay. I got it out of my system. I touched the wall. I can concentrate. Oh, Jesus, there's another wall. And they run over and touch the wall again. They're like, Jesus, I really need to pick stuff up and put them back down exactly where I found it. But, like, I have a problem with that, because it basically says they get distracted more easily. They can't really focus on, like, activities because they're more easily distracted. I'm easily distracted. I'm far from have a higher IQ. So, like, people who are easily distracted, which is most incompetent people. Let's face it, we've all been in a job where a person who's easily distracted or not paying attention to what they're meant to be doing. You're not like, oh, there's a bright, intelligent member of society. Look at him stare off into space, looking bored at the job and task of which he's been given to do.
Yeah, like, does it mean though, like, more easily distracted, like when doing activities or just in general?
It doesn't really go into that. It's just basically says even though they're not look like they're doing much, that they are engaged in thought. So basically, imagine isn't that they're trying to like focus on an activity, and that they're just like, oh, I'm bored of this. I'm gonna sit down and have a think.
Because I know a fierce amount of stupid, lazy people.
Yeah, so like it says, on the other hand, people who are active tend to participate in physical activities, which kind of makes sense, which leads them to occupy more time thinking about the activity rather than deep in thought. people who are more active can't deeply think about things. So therefore, they're less intelligent.
I can think of one example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Researchers from Florida Gulf Coast University got students to take a physiological test to identify who expressed a desire to think. A lot of those who preferred to avoid anything too strenuous said that they would spend more time thinking.
Is that just like people though that are like, oh, like if I give the wrong answer in this, they're gonna make me do something?
Probably, especially if they're really lazy.
Like,
yeah, it says anything too exhausting by rating how strongly they agreed or disagreed with statements like, I really enjoy a task that involves coming up with new solutions, and I don't think as hard as I have to. So people who were more active says, like, I don't really like tasks I don't have to. I just like doing things I know already how to do. And then people who are more lazy is like, no, I like figuring this out. I like the idea of unraveling this mystery with my mind. And people who identify higher with that. But like any of those, like, you know, if you're filling out like a customer thing where they're like, how much would you rate our service? And you're like, unless it was actively bad or actively good, you kind of just pick a 6. This is 5 or 6. It's like people's looks. Everyone generally falls around 4, 5, 6. No one's ever really above the mark. No one's ever really, like, you have to be actively ugly to be below a 4. Like you have to have a physical deformity to be less than a 4. So like I kind of feel like these surveys, like, you have to be like incredibly dumb where you're like, no, there's just, I don't like to think at all now. Like, in order to go, I very strongly disagree with this. I don't know how they got too many people who are like saying, oh, I 100%, unless they're trying to like make themselves seem like they're more intelligent. Especially at college, people want to make themselves seem like they're smart at college.
there's another thing, like there's a massive flaw in surveys as well, particularly if it's like multiple choice answers like that. Like if it's like, how much do you agree with this statement? The ones in the middle aren't counted.
Yeah, that is true.
They only ever like count the ones that are like, I agree or I disagree. They never really count the like 3 in the middle.
Where it says like, I could fall into either camp, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like they only really, it's only strongly agree, strongly disagree that are counted. Like,
but,
agree, neither agree nor disagree, or disagree aren't counted.
There's different types of like being active. So you can be active and you're not doing a whole lot. Like you're just wandering around the kitchen or you're going for a walk or something like that. That's technically being active. So during that activity, you could be deep in thought. Or you might just listen to a podcast and switch off. But like most sports involve some form of problem solving, of some form of navigating, and some form of like using an intelligence to justify like how far I want to kick that ball and I want to land it over there. So I have to kick this at this angle and I have to get it there. So they're using kind of geometry. They're not really actively thinking about it. They're just like, oh, I think I know how hard I need to kick this to get that ball over there. Or I'm going to pass this ball so that person thinks I have the ball and they take me over, but the guy has the ball and we win. So I'm sacrificing myself for the greater good. And that kind of
Isn't that kind of what the survey said? They only like doing things that they already know how to do.
Yeah, but like that's built up over years of learning about a sport and learning about like the geometries of like kicking balls. And so they're coming like PhDs. They're coming like experts in a very specific field. So if you look at like any college or any profession, people don't have broad kind of specialities. They have narrow single point specialities. Like my speciality is on elbows, and I am the foremost expert on being on elbows. If you have a problem with your elbow, come to me and I will tell you about your elbow. Whereas then you have general, like, people who know about the whole body and who can tell you anything, but like they can tell you a broad spectrum of elbow, but like an expert is always going to know a bit more. So like I kind of feel like people who focus on sport, they're just specializing their intelligence on a very pointless game. Who become really good at it. Like there's different types of like people who are at sport. Like you have people who are intelligently thinking about this, like the activity, who end up going into coaching or managing or some kind of higher level thing like that. And then you have people who like just I just can always do it and can't really ever explain why they can do it. They just could. They just do it on almost impulse, and you're like, I hate you. I physically hate you. It's really, really successful at this, and always was. Yeah, never really put too much thought into it. Just do this, and this happens. So, like, yeah, I kind of feel like it is a bit of a broad spectrum here. So, like, basically, after they found the two poll groups of I strongly disagree with this or strongly agree with them, they stuck on the thinkers trackers and on the non-thinkers trackers, and they found that they monitor them throughout the week and said throughout the week, like Monday to Friday, the people who were deep thinkers didn't move around that much. People who were higher thinkers moved around much, but on the weekends they had the same physical activities. They barely moved, both of them. So they couldn't really justify this. I imagine being in college, out drinking after weekend, dying of a hangover would probably be the answer I'd come up with for that. They're both just dying by the end of it.
Yeah. Like, sport, if you're, depending on what sports you're doing though, like most, like, team sports are kind of done on weekends.
Yeah, that's true. So if you're like playing like Sunday League, or even most games are played over the weekend. So yeah, you'd imagine that like physical activity, maybe like lazy people at the weekend, they're like okay, I'll go out and I'll go for a walk or whatever. But yeah, but you imagine their activity wouldn't ever surpass or match like a physically active person.
Yeah.
So yeah, it does make it.
I don't know, college students are just lazy anyway.
Yeah, maybe this is like they're dealing with a very lazy thing of people, like small group of people.
Yeah.
I also just think like people who are like extremely active maybe just suffering from a little bit of awesome deficit disorder.
Yeah, as in like they're deficient in awesomeness.
Yeah. They're deficient in awesomeness, and that's why they can't think straight. They're not awesome enough.
Yeah, they're not awesome enough.
Yeah, like I always, there's probably grains of truth through this. Like if you, like I think there's definitely spectrums of where there's probably a group of people, but like I do think there are, like, even physical activity helps promote memory. More active you are, like they say, like that's what scaves off a lot of neurological diseases is like regular exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe in the long run, all you're thinking is just on the couch there. It's just going to lead you to get Alzheimer's.
Maybe.
Maybe. We don't know. We can't say for sure. Now, this is time for our Idiots of the Week. This is part of the show created for idiots, by idiots. And it's where we talk about people doing dumb things. Ken, I just realised that I was doing that intro there. You're like, well, there goes our listeners after I called them all not very intelligent.
Yeah.
Every week we call them not very intelligent. We have a segment that starts with created for idiots, by idiots, and it's where we talk about people doing dumb things. Like we literally call them dumb every week, and they keep coming back
Yeah,
on like some
but
kind of
we also call ourselves dumb.
afterwards. So I think that's the thing. Like, you're dumb, we're dumb, we're all a little bit dumb, but are we really? We could be secretly intelligent. Let's all sit around and think about it. Well, one of the guys who won't be around to give out to us for calling him dumb is the guy who is our idiot of the week.
Didn't.
Because he died, unfortunately. So this is kind of a nice story to tell people why you shouldn't run your mouth online.
It's a nice story to
it's
tell
not really
people.
A nice story to tell people, but this is what can happen when you live in a neighborhood where people know where you live, and you say, come over to my house and fight me, because people will come over to your house and they will fight you then. As a rapper found out, he was killed moments after taunting his enemies online on Instagram to come over and
like, taunting his enemies. Like you're already getting off to a bad start. Like,
yeah,
who the fuck has enemies?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You have to be either a Bond villain or possibly James Bond himself to have enemies. Like, I imagine, like, governments have enemies.
Yeah.
Like, people shouldn't have enemies. Well, unless you train a specific sport. And there's a person who's very mean to you. Then they become your enemy. And you tell people, they spread rumors about people to you. Then you can't go to certain places.
Anybody specific here, Mark?
No one is specific. But he knows who he is. He'll get his comeuppance. Yeah, but you should I remember Bart Simpson. There was this, and it was like, oh, I'm only 10, and I already have 3 enemies or something like that. I was like, who has enemies? You shouldn't have enemies in this life, but like apparently you do. Yeah, the rapper has been gunned down outside his home just moments after daring critics to confront him on social media. His name is Rolly Bands. I don't think that's a nickname. That's his actual name. His man's or his father's name was called Bands. They were the Bands family, and they named their kid Rolly.
So what? He went online and he told people, "Come to my house and fight me," or try and kill me or whatever.
Well, so basically, he was having a bit of a rant. Yeah, have you ever had a rant online? I haven't. But I've definitely seen people having rants online, and it was like I always just feel like messing.
This whole podcast is a rant.
So sometimes we do rant a lot. Actually, this is like sometimes a bit of therapy, just getting stuff off your chest. Like I really needed to let that out. But yeah, he's basically said a lot of these N-words know where I live for the rapper, and then reportedly wrote on Instagram. This is what he apparently wrote on his Instagram story, and he says, "I sleep in peace if N-word wants to smoke." And then 5 minutes later, apparently the person who he was probably referring to wanted to smoke. And I think smoke means shoot him in the face.
Repeatedly.
Yeah. So unfortunately, 5 minutes later, he basically said, "I'm 5 minutes away from my crib, or I'll be in my house in 5 minutes. If you want to throw down, let's throw down." Now they had a photo of him, and like he has like a gun on his hip. He's like he doesn't have a holster, which I always feel kind of nervous about because it could fall and go off and like blow your dick off. Remember, like wasn't there like an Instagram group who for shooting each other in the dicks? Didn't we cover that? There was like an Instagram group.
Maybe.
Kind of vague recollection, but this is why you need holsters. I think they like slag each other off. It's like a group where they slag each other off being shot in the dick. Like they're all like people who've got shot in the dick, and they have a group or something like that. It's like, and I think there's like High Loaded or something like that. Search for on our podcast wherever you get yours. Let us know which episode it is. Yeah, so like basically this happened around 3:30, and 5 minutes after, basically someone arrived to his house and he was shot in the parking lot of the complex of his apartments. So like, yeah, I kind of feel like he's an idiot of the week for first of all, like having enemies with guns and then taunting them to fight.
Like, what did he think was going to come of that?
I don't know. Maybe like even if anyone showed up, there would be a lot of posturing. There's to be like posturing. Oh yeah, you'll do nothing. You'll do nothing. You know how you ever see lads who are fighting and they don't. No one wants to throw the punch, so they're just taunting each other.
Jumping around.
Yeah, they're just taunting each other. Their arms are flying. Their chest is flaring out, and the other person's like, "Yeah, go on." They're just going back and forward at each other. Nothing's ever happening, and then someone actually throws a punch. And then there's like, oh my god, we're in this.
Yeah, and everybody runs away.
Yeah. That's pretty much described me and Garrett anytime we go on a night out together. It's just like us for an entire night.
You just named him as well.
Yeah. It's just basically how we spend an entire night now. It's just us grabbing each other's arms and then kind of bring our head towards, like we're going to headbutt one another. As the bouncers, like we're going to have to fuck these guys out. These guys aren't well in the head. Yeah. But yeah, like I don't know why you would, especially if you know the type of people who you're taunting have probably guns or are in gangs, and yourself is in a gang, but your gang's nowhere around you.
Yeah, it seems like the logical thing to do.
Yeah, it's to like taunt them off. Maybe he was just like drunk when he was like, "This will make me sound like a badass. Like I don't give a fuck. I'll throw down. Like if I act like the tough guy, then people will think I'm the tough guy, so they don't mess with the tough guy."
Or maybe he wanted like 50 Cent incident. You know, he wanted to be shot and survive and be like
have a career off being like a survivor of gang violence.
And be like, you couldn't kill me.
Yeah, I got shot in the chest 5 times. Apparently, yeah, he was rushed to hospital after he got shot, but they couldn't save him, and he died on the operating table. So yeah, it kind of is like, it's kind of a story of why you shouldn't taunt people online.
Or kids that have guns and shoot you.
Yeah, well, definitely if people you're taunting online know where you live.
Yeah. Probably not the best idea.
Yeah, and that's why he's an idiot of the week.
Yeah, like I just don't know what he was trying to gain from that.
Followers. I imagine that's what the only thing that possibly could gain it, like, either he was trying to gain followers or like to show like dirt on his enemies, like, oh, yous are pussies, I called you out, and I was outside my gaff. No one came around. But like, if he had like kids, or there could have been kids playing around in his apartment block. So probably was. So like the idea of like inviting people to where you live, like it's got a bit of a dick mood for like the people who live in your apartment block. Like if you want to throw down, like pick somewhere like no innocent person standby is going to get like caught in the crossfire of you being dumb as well.
Yeah, it's
have like an open field.
Stand off in the field.
Yeah. And do like the thing where, you know, you walk 10 paces and you draw.
Like a duel.
Yeah, basically have a duel. Honor among idiots.
The duel of idiocy.
Now will commence, where one or both of yous will die, and the other can brag about it on the Instagram.
On the interwebs.
And go to SoundCloud and make a song about your heroic victory.
Against your mortal enemy.
Your mortal enemy at 23 years old. You have a mortal enemy.
Worked out well.
Yeah, so that happened. So we'll move on to our final story, which is a guy who got a club card tattooed on him, so he'll never be missing out on those amazing offers. Now, is there only one brand of shop that calls it a club card, or do they all call them club cards?
They all call them club cards, but there's only one brand of shop that you need to have your club card to get offers.
Fair enough. Because I was kind of like, I don't want to name the shops. I was like, I don't want to get in trouble in case a particular brand of shop goes, hey, stop talking about us.
Yeah, which they do.
Yeah. So like, we don't name the shop, but if you're aware of the brand that you have to bring your club cards, you already know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hey, so Dean Mayhew, it's Mayhew, Mayhew.
Mayhew?
Mayhew?
Yeah.
Mayhew. Okay. Seems odd. Maybe it's Welsh. He's 30 and paid £200 for a permanent tattoo of his club card QR code in Star Tattoos in Chessington, South London. And basically, he's kind of taking a risk because there's no guarantee that this would actually work. Like you were saying that if it's done properly and there's no mistakes,
it should work.
It should work. So, basically, you're taking a lot of chances. And like, what if this doesn't work? And like, what if his card expires, which it probably will eventually? Will it be the same barcode?
Yeah, they don't expire.
Oh, do they know? Fair
No.
enough. So yeah, basically, Dean has his basically got the tattoo, and him and the tattoo artist wanted to check out to see if this is actually work. So I don't know what they went and bought, but they basically put a video on TikTok of the tattoo being stenciled and being tattooed on him, and then a follow video showing them in the supermarket which he got the club card of, and I'll see if I can find what he actually bought. I don't know, it's probably not that important. We went and I think he bought something like stupid, like I think it might be in sweets. He bought sweets.
Probably sweets.
Just got tattooed, get the blood sugars back up. And he then got to try his new tattoo, and it didn't work. The tattoo wasn't flat enough in order for the reader. So then they both brought over the check here, and I think they have the gun. So like he was nearly like shitting on all this money and it doesn't even work. But apparently the check here with the gun was able to scan it, and now he has a tattoo of his club card that works. That he has to obviously use it in a check here.
Oh, it's so stupid.
So yeah, you're right. It did actually work, but like sort of.
Yeah, like if it's done, well, I didn't know it had to be like flat, but like yeah, if it's done properly, it should work.
He bought cookies, Ken.
He bought cookies.
Yeah, and it said unfortunately, in this instance, the angle was too odd, and Dean couldn't quite bend his arm enough to make the code scan. But it looks like it wasn't a complete failure, because then they tried their luck on the cashier. They were able to scan the tattoo, So basically, they put up their success of being able to scan.
So, where did he first try it that it wouldn't scan?
It must have been maybe, self-service tills. Maybe it didn't actually go into too much. It didn't say, but maybe one where he just had to like scan his arm, and it was just like as if you're like scanning a barcode, and he couldn't get his arm. So self-service tills. Some people places have. Probably definitely out in a particular shop that have self-service tills.
Yeah.
I don't know if other supermarkets have self-service tills. I don't go
They
into
do, yeah. Everywhere has.
Oh, grand. I don't go into supermarkets. I don't understand people who do. For a relatively low fee, people will go around the shop, pick what you want up, and drive it to your house. For like pretty much nothing. Like it's close to nothing. Even on like prime times, it's a $5.
Yeah, and if you knew people who did that job, you would never use that service.
Fair enough. Enough said.
If you wanted stories, Mark.
I got loads. So yeah, basically, people on TikTok were going mad. So this is definitely going to come a thing. You're going to see, Ken particularly is going to see a lot of people coming in with club card tattoos.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because I'm going to refuse to scan them.
Can you refuse?
Yeah, well, I'm going to say identity fraud and all that crack.
How's that identity fraud? It's on.
Prove that's your club card.
He just takes out his actual club card.
Yeah.
He goes, scan my arm.
Scan your actual club card.
Imagine going all that way, and your man goes, "Now I need your actual club card."
Yeah, like you can't accept a photo of somebody's ID, so I'm not accepting a tattoo of your club card.
Fair enough. That it seems semantics, but
yeah, well, if you're going to be a fucking dick, if you're going to go and do something because you're being a fucking dick, then I'm going to be a dick back.
Yeah, I always wonder that if I got stopped because every now and again, like I don't bring my wallet with me, but my license is in my wallet. But I have photos of my license, and I wonder if guards would just accept my license, like a photo of my license, because it has all the relative information.
Yeah, that's going to depend on the guard.
Yeah, I guess how much
they don't even run them through a computer anymore. They just scan them. Have you gotten stopped in a while?
No.
Like the guard just has this thing on his phone now. Like they just pull it out and he takes out his phone and he scans your license.
I don't know why there isn't like a PDF form or something how you can download your tickets to your plane that you're going on.
Yeah, because if you have a PDF form, it probably doesn't go out of date, so they can't charge you €8 every fucking few years to renew the fucking thing, and then people won't be losing it, so you can't charge people €8 to replace it, and then people won't be snapping it in half when they sit on it, so you can't charge them €8 to replace it.
Well, surely you could still have the expiry date on a thing and say, well.
Yeah, but you're not going to be losing it. You're not going to be accidentally damaging it. You're not going to be,
But if people who don't download it, they'll still get fined. They'll be able to fine people for not having their license on them then. Whereas now it's just 10 days to produce. Whereas if they
that's gone.
Is it?
You don't have 10 days to produce anymore.
Do you know?
No, you must have your driver's license on you when you're driving.
And then what?
You get a fine for not having your driver's license.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah, you used to get 10 days to produce it, but you don't have that anymore. Don't worry about it.
Why did they get rid of it?
Because it's easier to find people.
More money for the police officers.
Yeah, it's easier to find people.
So, a word of the warning in case you are this is an amazing idea. Would you get... Remember I was saying, this could go into, if you go to a concert, and maybe it's a big concert that you've been looking forward to, it could be your first time seeing a band or the last time you see a band, which would probably be more realistic of when you're actually going to tattoo it on yourself. Would you go and get the last time Metallica played and like, let's say they've done away with paper tickets and all tickets are now barcodes or all digital codes, would you get a QR code of that Metallica concert? So you'd be like, I remember that Metallica concert and I got this on my arm or I got on my thing.
No.
We just get an M tattooed.
Like, I don't really see what the point would be.
What if instead of getting a tattoo, you get like, you know, you could get people could get like where they get a hot metal rod, and you like brand it. You can get branders.
Yeah.
People still get them. Would you get that?
Of what? A concert ticket?
QR code.
No.
So you're not getting a QR code anytime.
No.
I don't know. I think it's like I could see some people, because there's a lot of people out there who like little tattoos, and they like lots of little tattoos, and I could see them going to a concert. Maybe it's the first concert or a concert that they met a person that they end up going out with for a while, and getting kind of a QR code there of that concert as a way to remember. I could see it in the future because people get like you said, the barcodes thing was popular. I'm not saying I would get these tattoos. I definitely think we're going to see people with QR code tattoos. It's going to become a thing.
Yeah, I just think it's stupid.
Oh, it's 100% stupid. Yeah. There's no getting away how stupid it is.
Like, it'll end up like fucking tribal.
Oh, it'll end up like either Trans Am's, any kind of fad tattoos. That's what it is going to go down the road of.
Same with these blackout tattoos, you know, that shite.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of those tattoos. But yeah, like I don't think like they're not the worst. I just think they're pointless.
Like, I know somebody who's in the process of getting all their fucking just getting covered in just blackout shit. But like, he's got a full bodysuit.
A full bodysuit of black?
No, he has a full bodysuit that he's now getting covered over with black.
Yeah, so maybe just get addicted to the like actual tattoo process. So like he's finished his bodysuit.
I don't know what the fuck that's about.
Yeah, I like tattoos. I like having tattoos. I hate the process. Oh my god, if there's a painless way of getting a tattoo, like if they could put you out when you wake up and you have a lovely tattoo, oh my god, I'll take that all day long.
I don't mind it.
Not really a huge fan of it. Put me to sleep.
I like
I know you can get numbing cream and all.
Like this is gonna sound mental, but like the most enjoyable tattoo I got was my funny bone.
So you'd fall into that camp of you enjoy the pain or you enjoy that process.
Yeah, like the rest of them like all hurt, like, but like it's not like unbearable.
It's not unbearable, but it like when you're getting tattooed for 7 hours plus and over like 2.5 hours, it doesn't have to be unbearable. It's just constant.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I prefer not to go through it. if I could opt. Like, if you could opt for a painless tattoo or a painful tattoo, which one would you go for?
I go with the classic.
The classic. See, that's what I mean. And there's two types of people. And those ones get addicted to getting tattoos because they kind of like that pain.
Like, I got on like my inner bicep, like up into my armpit. That tattooing was like 9 hours. And we got to like 8.5, and the tattoo artist went for a smoke, and he came back and he's like, "Oh, your arms after like kind of swelling a bit." And I was like, "Yeah, well, you have been like fucking poking at it for like nearly 9 hours." And he was like, "Okay." So he started tattooing again. There's like maybe 40 minutes left in it.
Yeah.
And he was like, "This is getting like really, really bad. I'm gonna have to like put numbing cream on it to try and like control what's going on here." I was like, "All right." So he numbed it up and he started tattooing again. He's like, "Man, this is just getting too swollen. We're going to have to stop." And I had to go back for 10 minutes of just highlights.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but like even, and maybe it's like the place I got my tattoo in, after I just remember the journey home just being horrific as well. It was just like you just feel like your body's in shit at this stage, and you had to get I had to get public transport to my car, and it was just like I was on the Lewis, and I was just shaking. I felt like a heroin addict coming off a high. I was just like, I was in pain. I felt like I had sunburn that was like throbbing, and I was just shaking after just spend hours getting tattooed and be like. And I remember my friend seeing me, and he's like, I was like, he's like, oh, what are you doing here? I was like, got tattooed. So badly in pain, and he was shouting on about something. I can't remember what, but I remember I think he was saying how some girl dropped their phone, and she's like, oh, my phone, and he fixed it, and she's like, oh my god, and I was like, I couldn't care less about this story. I was like, sorry, I am literally dying right now, and I just want to go home and shake and have a shower.
Yeah. Do you not think though, when you take off the plastic wrap and you wash it for the first time, that feeling when you're washing it is class?
No.
No?
No, it's that really delicate wound of tapping it down.
Yeah, it's been sweating in that fucking cling film for ages, and you're take it off and you wash it, and you're like, oh yeah, that feels good.
No. I might actually just get numbing cream next time I'm getting tattooed and just rub it on a half an hour before and go on and walk.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't it?
No.
Yeah, I said, I've done it for 7 hours. I get through it every time. You do get through it, but it's not nice. I could in jiu-jitsu, some people say they like getting choked, and it's something I never I couldn't understand. And it's when I did kickboxing, some people said they like getting punched. They like the feeling of being punched. It's a nice feeling. They said anytime I'm sparring, I get punched once or twice. Not too hard, just to feel it, and then I'm I feel like I'm ready to go.
With jiu-jitsu, I would prefer chokes over giant clocks.
Yeah, well, I can understand. Yeah, people used to always say that to me, oh, fucking getting your arm, because you get your arm hyperextended, and it hurts. Can actually hurt for days after. Whereas a choke is just oh, and then you're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's we'll leave the show on weird fetishes. It seems like a nice way to end the show. So we'll be back next week with more random thoughts.
Yeah. Hopefully still some listeners.
Off-topic stories. What?
Hopefully still some listeners.
Yeah, well, all our very intelligent listeners. Don't mind what we said earlier in the podcast. You're all very beautiful and intelligent. And important. We'll be back anyway next week. Talk to you soon.
Good luck.
No.